Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, I've talked a lot about Moodys and the rand being downgraded to junk, and we have a very interesting perspective from the Old Mutual Investment Group, who are obviously a very big finance company, and they're talking about this very subject. And this is what they say. It is unlikely that South African fiscal policy will be enough by early 2020 to convince Moodys not to downgrade the country's sovereign credit rating to junk status. However, with a sub-investment grade eventuality already priced into markets and with slow and steady reforms underway, a Moodys downgrade is not the disaster that many expect it will be. This is the view of Old Mutual Investment Group market and economic commentators, who believe that while 2020 is still likely to see weak growth, the foundation will be built for a better 2021 and beyond. Speaking at the asset manager's fourth quarterly media investment briefing for the year, Old Mutual Investment Group chief economist Johan Els says that a Moody's rating downgrade is now more likely than ever by early next year, unless the February budget moves the dial substantially. He said, despite what we saw in the disappointing medium-term budget, expenditure cuts could still be in the cards, but they would have to be significant to make any kind of impact. He went on to say Treasury's options for getting the budget and South African debt under control include printing money, which is highly unlikely, allowing higher inflation, which is also highly unlikely, raising taxes, which is difficult in the current environment, selling assets, which is unlikely on a large scale and will take time, selling off spectrum, which will have a small impact and will take time, and then cutting expenditure and lifting growth. Considering these options, cutting expenditure and lifting growth through structural policy adjustments remain government's most viable solutions. Els added that it would be difficult to make meaningful expenditure cuts without addressing the wage bill. He said limiting growth in the wage bill is probably going to be easier than cutting jobs or freezing wage increases. This could lead to a lower budget deficit fairly quickly. Limiting growth to 4% per annum could mean cumulative savings of 104 billion rand and a deficit of minus 5.1% compared to the mini-budget target of minus 5.9%. While February's budget will likely see a serious attempt to rein in the deficit and stabilize debt through combined expenditure and revenue measures, this is not going to be enough to satisfy Moody's, said Els. A ratings downgrade is sub-investment grade is therefore our base case for early 2020, but this is widely expected and priced in already. Despite much anxiety around this, a downgrade will not derail the economy, attempts at reform or fiscal improvements for 2020 and beyond. Old Mutual Investment Group portfolio manager John Orford agrees, pointing out that while a downgrade to junk status is almost guaranteed in 2020, we are seeing some positive steps towards reform-minded government, with investment opportunities still to be found with a sub-investment grade environment. South Africa continues to see political and governance improvements like the impact of various commissions of inquiry and more high-profile prosecutions that are at least starting to get underway, such as a recent arrest of the chair of the Parliamentary Home Affairs Committee and ex-Minister of State Security Bongani Bongo, and key leadership changes. There have also been incremental reforms, although no clear plan yet on how to cut government spending and resolve Eskom's debt problem. However, Orford said this is all probably too little too late for Moody's. He said, local USD bonds and Rand bonds have already been priced in to a sub-investment grade rating following the announcement of Moody's decision in February next year. Indeed, this is typical of markets which look forward, and with South Africa already rated sub-investment by Fitch and S&P, markets will hardly be surprised by Moody's downgrading South Africa. For markets, what is more important is the future. If government actually implements favourable reforms, in particular showing its ability to stabilise the debt to GDP path and to resolve the Eskom crisis, then South African assets could perform well, regardless of the Moody's downgrade. Now, there's one elephant in the room here, that they've completely missed, and that is black economic empowerment, which is destroying South Africa at all levels of business and government. The whole economy is cactus because of BEE. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, stay safe.